Welcome to Random Crafty Acts. This is the next in a video series that you'll find in the playlist. If you'll click on the title of the YouTube channel near the description below, you can then click on the playlist and find basic card making basics. I believe I did finally decide to call it. In previous videos, I went through how to cut card bases and how to cut the layers that go on top. There you will find this that shows you how I basically approach most of the cards I make. I work with A2 size cards. A couple of the very simple things about A2 size cards we covered in the previous, using the various layers to create the front of the card. Right, and so we're going to start working with, in this particular video, in what we call embellishments. All right, to me, let me grab that again. These are card mats. This is embellishment, and what all embellishment really means is decorating the front of the card. And I like to look at this as the focal point, because this is what your eye is basically drawn to when you first look at the card. Okay, so you take it out of the envelope, you open it to see if there's any money in it, and then you look at what's on the face of the card. Maybe not in that order. Maybe you look on the inside of the card because you're excited and you want to see if they wrote you a note. Okay? All right, so let's jump in. Embellishments is where there is a massive amount of variety as far as what your options are. So I wanted to start today with something that you can do that will not, does not require any exceptional equipment or anything additional. All you have to be able to do is print something out. All right, Natasha Foote. Natasha is a YouTube creator. I've used her site before. She's from New Zealand, I think. She has a lovely accent, and she has recently come out with these sheets. When you find her on YouTube, and I'll link her videos below, particularly this video, she provides you, if you go over to her website, you can get this for free. Okay, now she has other things that you have to join her YouTube page for. That's standard out there in the industry, but this was one that's for free. All right, and I'm not going to make you watch me cut it. I've already, if you'll notice here, I've already pre-cut all of the little pieces. Okay, I got this, I got the sentiments also from a free sheet on her web page. Okay, so we have these, and we're going to build the card front. The other thing I want to point out is I was having printer problems that I still haven't totally figured out. But one of the times I printed, actually, since I'm stubborn, twice, it came out like this. It's not her, it's my printer, and the connection between my HP laptop and my HP printer, which, again, as I said, I still don't really understand. But I haven't thrown these out, and you'll notice that I cut them out, the plain ones out up here, and I've got a couple of ideas as the kind of things you could do with that. Okay, so basically the way she approaches it, and I encourage you to watch her video, she looked at the top half as one kind of card, things that you could make, and then the bottom half as another kind that you could work with. I think they mix and match really well. So let's just get to it instead of just talking about it. All right. So what I do. These are my top fold. I want my side folds first. Okay. Here's the way I approach this. I take my 4 by 5 1/4, and I work with that to start with. Okay, I'm going to grab some. I'm going to grab my reversible tweezers here just to make this a little easier. Okay, and I've cut. My objective here is to make 2 cards. So I have this card, this card. These are my card backs. I'm going to put that little layer in here. Okay, and then I'm going to put some of these things on the top layer here. Okay, that's where we're headed. Okay, that was a little bit of an interruption there. I paused it so you wouldn't suffer through it. Okay, let's look at a couple of our options. Option number 1. You can put this here. Most people have a tendency to work with 2. Okay, you could work with all 3 by spacing them evenly. Okay, once you do that, then you're going to want to probably want to put something aside here. You could put a thinking of you. All right, very simple. Okay, using all of the free cut aparts. All right. Another thing that she does is she works with this. I'll do a happy birthday here. That will fit inside of there. Okay. And she does let's set these aside. She runs this top to bottom. Okay, this is cut, so this is 5 1/4. Okay, you can center it. I'm just giving you some different options here. Put this like this so that it doesn't look quite so plain. You could put one of these up here. Okay, same thing here. Alright. Another thing that I saw that she did was she put, I think, one of these over here, and then she tilted these. Like this. I don't remember what she did to get I guess it doesn't matter if the happy birthday would be crooked there. I might not like that quite as much. I might do that and then put this here. I would have to go back and look at her video to see exactly how she did that. But I know that she took like these and put them this way and then this way. That doesn't look too bad. Okay. Alright, so you've got a lot of options. So let's try just starting to glue some things down and see what we like. I think I'm going to start with 3 of these across the front. And again, you can watch her video and see exactly how she did that. Okay, I'm going to try to use my lines on here. Hope I'm in frame. Okay. She cut all of these out with scissors. I've seen people cut these out with crafting knives. Okay. You can also, in the previous video, I had my guillotine printer out and my regular cutting platform. You could line them up and cut them with those. Okay, so we're going to do that. And I'm doing Thinking of You because, as I've mentioned before, this is one of the sentiments that Operation Gratitude uses. That's the group that I donate to. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. Again, this is a very simple card. Alright, so I'm going to set these over here. Then we're going to put this on the black background. You'll see how that kind of brings it out a little bit. And then remember, this is just very, very slim. Okay, very simple card. But you notice the black background kind of helps this pop this out. I didn't have anything blue that I really liked the look of with that, but you could put a thin, if you cut your a mat just a slight bit larger than these, you could do that too. You could put each of these things on a mat of their own. Okay, so that's one. All right, let's see, what do we want to do here? I really want to do something with these. Let me see what I can. Okay, these. There isn't a lot of equipment that I really recommend. Reversible tweezers is one. Okay, I just want to show you how amazing these are. Okay, so regular tweezers, you have to hold them closed in order to hang on to it. These, you squish them in. Okay, and you can find them pretty much anywhere. But when you're doing something like this, it really helps. Okay. Looks like I have 3 of these I can work with. I think I know what I'll do with this. A lot of times I'm just like, I start working with it and I just kind of, I made a lot of cards, so I kind of know where different places to put things, and that's something that you'll get to where you can do as well. Okay, I'm going to put this one over at the side. Okay. Alright, let's just do a little think here. We put that way. Oh, and this will fit this way. Okay. Since I've been doing videos, I've been working on a glass mat for a couple of different reasons. I almost always, though, I'm very used to working on a like an acrylic based mat. I'll pull one out here in just a second and show you. Okay, and we'll go ahead and make one happy birthday. And yes, I could use the tweezers, but I've already got ink on my glue on my fingers, so I'm going to center this inside of here. Put this here. Okay, so let's see. She gave us 3 of these, which we've used 2 of. One of these, we've used this, and we've used the 3. I'm just kind of seeing how many cards I could get out of one set. keep in mind these download as PDFs. So once you download them, just want to make sure that I glue this on so that it opens where I want it to open. Not that I haven't done it and put it on upside down and backwards. Okay, all right, so we've got two. Happy birthday and a thinking of you. All right. Let's try one more. I would really want a couple more of these in order to do that. I wasn't going to cut any more of these out. Oh, just cut up into that one. That's why I don't normally, I am not really good at working with scissors. I have friends who are incredible. In the crafting world, we call this fussy cutting. I think mostly because it's kind of fussy to do. This is part of that triangle thing that she did. I would have to look back at her video to figure out exactly how she did this. I think she did it like this. But then I don't know where she put the sentiment. So let's look at some of our sentiment. You've got a strip. I don't really care for that. Okay. I don't usually combine circles and squares. Whenever I'm struggling with something like this, I can almost hear people out there who are watching the video going, turn it the other way, turn it the other way. I think you could probably do that. This is what is referred to as a lot of white space, which is not something that I'm usually a fan of, but let's go ahead and do that here. Quiet outside right now. My husband is doing some heavy-duty yard work, and he just took the truck off to take some things to a neighbor's house. So okay. I use Barely Arts glue because it dries clear. Not that some of the other brands that are out there do not, but I've really gotten in the habit of way this is coming out, but we're going to go with it. Okay. It makes it a little crowded on the front, but I'm going to go ahead and put the 3 on there just to kind of create the design. Again, not my favorite. I'm definitely going to go back to her video and see what she did with this when she had it on the front. Was a top fold card. Which you see doesn't make any difference in how the rest of the card comes together, but it does make a difference that we can stand it up. Okay. All right. Again, maybe this would have looked better if I just put the happy birthday down here in the corner without all this around it. Or the other thing that we could have done is you can put this here and then you can trim this down so that it's a much narrower. Alright, so just keeping in mind you have a lot of options when you're working with something like this. So that's 3. I want to do something with the circles since I went to the trouble to cut them out. Oh, I know what I've got. Okay, I'm cutting this narrow strip out over here. And I think I'm going to pause the video to look for what I have. Some of the people who work with scissors do better with the ones with the really long blades. And the other thing is to make sure that these are beveled blades, and to make sure that you're working with blades that are straighter, and it supposedly makes it easier to do this. Okay, let me slide back here where I am. I'm back here rooting around on the floor. If you're not rooting around on the floor at least once when you're crafting, you're not really doing it a good service. Yeah. Okay, this is, these strips are left over from when I cut 4 of these out of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. Okay, and this is really sliding around, so I'm gonna pull in. This is, I buy these at the Dollar Tree. They're $1.25, and they get dirty because I ink on them, and so I have one someplace up there that says keep clean. Alright, so let's lay this on here so we do a little bit better with measurements and it doesn't move as much. Okay, I'm going to bring this over, and that's came off just a little bit short on that. Okay, and then these are the same length. Okay, and I can cut those off. That's why I'm doing this before I put it on the main card mat. That 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Okay, and then since I like a certain amount of symmetry, okay, and I clip these little pieces off. Alright, and then I want to look at these thinking of yous. This could go here. The other thing that I have, and this is a lot bigger than what I would normally use, but just for the purposes of demonstration, I can cut these, and I didn't have any done before I started this. Okay, so you can put that in the center here. Okay, and that's a little overwhelming. It's a little big for what I would like, but I could cut black circles that would go around there. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and see if I have any. Okay, we're back. I had to go ahead and cut them. But you can cut a circle. Now, I cut these out using a punch. Okay. Again, this is something that's available in a lot of different places. This is 1 3/4 inches, which is what these were basically set up as on her site. I could probably have, I don't know if I could cut that quite down to 1 inch without losing, yeah, I don't think I could have cut them out with 1 inch without losing a lot of that. Same thing with this one. Okay, and I don't happen to have a punch for 1 3/4 inches, so I use my die cutting machine, which is something that we'll do at some point. The other thing I could have done is I could cut just a square, which you can just measure it out and cut a square. Okay, so I think I'm going to use the one with the stringy looking things. Put these on a backing. In a subsequent video, I just haven't been able to figure out how to get the equipment under a camera. And there are a lot of videos out there on die cutting. Okay. And if I had some blue that matches this, that would have been nice. You could have put this on a blue background. Okay, but we're closing in here on having 4 cards done. And I don't know how much crafting time you have available, so I wanted to make sure that I left you plenty of time to go look at Natasha's site. There's in probably the next video, there's another site I use frequently for this kind of thing that is really set up very well for people who don't have a lot of extra equipment. I mean, I have what's referred to as a silhouette, which is like the Cricut that you see out there. I also have a die cutting machine, which is, I have 2 of them actually, because I buy a lot of stuff. And that works, but not everybody has all of that, and you can, I'm just trying to get some things out there that you can make really nice cards. Okay, so this is a nice plain simple card. One of the other things you can do with your pieces that you have left over is you can use them to decorate the inside of a card. Like if this was blue, I could put it here at the bottom. Okay, all right. So that's 4 made out of the sheet that worked. I just wanted to show you one thing that I did. I did cut these out, but one of the things I did, and I don't really, not really set up to go in, but I went in and on those white ones, I took a stencil and I just stenciled colors in. Another thing you could do is you could just take your inks like this and a brush and just color them in, um, and that would work. You could also take uh, the white. And if you take one of these, remember we worked on this color cardstock, okay, and you could trim the blue off. That might help, but you could work with the white on top of a color cardstock as well. So I don't. While this was not what I intended it to be, it's also not something that at this house ends up in the trash. Okay, so working with Natasha Foote. I had the strip. It's Natasha Foote. If you search for her on YouTube, you'll find her. I believe it's natashafoote.com. But if you just search for her on YouTube, as I said, I'll put the link below, and then you can find your way from that to her website, and then this sheet is free to print out. And I think if I had looked at this a little differently, I could have probably gotten maybe 2 more cards. Okay, and I think that's pretty good for a sheet of embellishments that didn't cost me anything. All right. In the next video, I'm going to start moving out into the kind of embellishments that you maybe have to invest some money in or invest in equipment to use. But as I said, I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible so that you can use this as a starting point. Okay? Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate it if you would do that and give it a thumbs up. And I hope you'll check back to see what I come up with next. Thank you.